So I had to do a lot of meditating before I started this video because I'm going to be talking about some heavy stuff. And this stuff is not easy to talk about, but the reason I do is because I want you guys to understand what it took for me to get to the breaking point, for me to get to the point where enough was enough. And that is what led to my life transformation, not just my body transformation. All this stuff is what led to my life transformation. So I want to share this story with hopes that you can find ways to apply it to your story, and it'll help you find your breaking point. But before I get into that, I do want to let you guys know I'm changing things up. So I mentioned to you guys about the mission of transforming 1,000 bodies and transforming 1,000 lives through my business. And I'm looking for serious candidates. So I'm gathering the products, the services, the resources together right now. And if you want to stay in the loop about what's going on with the 1,000 Transformations mission and the entire Brix Fitness coaching, meal planning service, all of the things that I'm developing to change people's bodies and lives, I want you to go to brixfitness.com, sign up for the newsletter. You can sign up via text or via email. But go to the website. All the information is there right now. I'm trying to gather serious people who want to be a part of this 1,000 Transformations mission. So go ahead and do that right now. So yeah, let's jump right into this. Now, I wanna first talk about. I've talked about this stuff in the past, and it was from a place of pain. It was before I made peace with a lot of the events in my life. And I just want to first and foremost say that this is all from a place of love. This is all from a place of understanding. And I'm at a really good place with all the details because I'm about to talk about some really dark stuff that happened in my past, and it involves other people. So that disclaimer, this is all from a place of love. I wouldn't change any detail of what I'm about to share with you guys. It was all necessary to get me to this point in my life where I am currently, where I have all this value to offer the world. So this is all from love. Anybody who was involved in this story, if you've done anything wrong to me or to yourself, I forgive you. I hope you forgive yourself. This is not any judgment or anything like that. This is just my truth. And I just kind of wanted to share that, right? So let's reflect a little bit. There was a lot that happened that led to me reaching my breaking point, right? There's a lot that happened. Listen, y'all. I'm hesitant right now because this stuff is not easy to talk about. But all right, suck it up, Brix. Let's go. This is a part of your mission. It's a part of your assignment to be a transparent. So let's get it. All right. So I've been to some really dark places in my life, and from these dark places that's where I found myself. That's where I found my mission. That's where I found my calling in life. That's where I learned to love myself. And, oh my God. Whoa, dang. I forgot that video did. My bad, y'all. My bad. I really didn't mean to show that. But let's back up. I'm from Brownsville, Brooklyn. And this is what Brownsville, Brooklyn looked like in the 90s. It's a place of a lot of pain. There's a lot of crime, there's a lot of drugs. Well, it still is, but especially back in the 90s when I was growing up there, these are some photos of what my neighborhood actually looked like. I remember walking to school, stepping on crack vials, stepping on needles. This was the reality. It was like a war zone in Brownsville. Needless to say, there was a lot that I learned there. There was a lot that I seen as a child that I should not have. I had a good childhood, despite the circumstances. But there were a lot of things that went into, that scarred me, right? That scarred me and led to me having all sorts of issues. Let's just call them that. My father wasn't around. I had a stepfather in my life who was he was in the streets. He was very abusive to my mom, and I grew up watching a lot of that. Sorry, guys. I grew up watching a lot of that. I grew up watching my mom abused, and it caused a lot of complexes for me and for my siblings, and I'm pretty sure for her. I mean, of course, that goes without saying. And my mom was very verbally abusive to us, because she was depressed. She was in a really dark place for most of my childhood. So I grew up, my mom calling me stupid all the time. Now I'm speaking from a place of love. This is just my truth. I know my mom loved us. I know my mom did everything she could with what she was equipped with in order to raise us. But she had a lot of demons. She faced a lot of demons, and I get it. I forgive her. And she, my experience as a child turned me into a very strong adult with a lot of wisdom and a lot of growth that I wish to share on this platform and just on every platform. So fast forward a little bit in high school, I joined a gang. My mom was very upset about that, but that was the culture that I lived in Brownsville. It was a lot of gang activity. You felt pressured, to join the gang. I wasn't necessarily a thug, but it was my environment, right? Look at me, Fat Brix. Again, look into his eyes, man. There's a lot of pain. There was a lot of pain. There was a lot of, I was just lost. I didn't know what my purpose was. I loved the music, right? So I was doing music all through my teenage years and into high school and college. And then in 2002, I moved down to Virginia and I attended Norfolk State University. And that chapter of my life was amazing. Again, a lot of growth, but I'm still carrying a lot of baggage that in hindsight, I recognize was caused by my childhood, the things that I experienced in my childhood. And my kid's mom and I, we were together. We met in high school, right? This is a little after high school, but we met in high school, and we went down to Norfolk State together. And, from my father not being around, growing up in a household where I watched my stepdad abuse my mom, growing up in Brownsville, Brooklyn, not having the most positive view on life and on the world. I went to Norfolk State with some complexes. I was this hood dude with very limited views on life. And 2006, I had my baby girl. So I was still in college. My ex-wife and I were still in college. My daughter was born, and needless to say, that changed my life. I was thrusted into this role of a father when I didn't know how to be a father. I didn't even know how to be a man, let alone be a father. And it was something that, it challenged me on a very deep level, because I was trying to navigate life, right? I was trying to find myself. And then I was trying to figure out how to be a man, because I didn't learn how to be a man. My father wasn't around to teach me. And that was probably for the best. And my stepfather, I didn't want to be the type of man that he was. So fatherhood was a journey that changed me. And anyone who watching this right now who has a child, I'm pretty sure they can relate to that. it was hard for me because I didn't know how to prioritize my responsibilities. I was super lost in life. I was seeking outside validation. I didn't know who I was, so therefore, I struggle with a lot of self-esteem issues. I struggle with a lot of self-esteem issues. I wanted people to like me too much. I cared too much about what other people thought. I was caught up in that. Nowadays it's social media, but back in the days it was hip hop. It was the hip hop lifestyle. It was the flashy cars and the jewelry, right? Matter of fact, I'll skip a little ahead, right? So this was my lifestyle, and I'm gonna get back to. Matter of fact, let me stay on the course, right? So anyway, after 7 years, I don't know, 7, 8 years, 6 years, I don't know. It took way longer than it should have. I graduated college, and it was a victory for me because when I went to college, I didn't foresee this happening. I didn't foresee me actually graduating. So this was a feat because I had been through a lot. I had really been through a lot at this point. And, I was going through a divorce, right? Me and my ex-wife, we weren't working out because of a lot of the issues that I had as a man. And after I graduated, my boy Ali, right? I'm going to zoom in. So this is my boy Ali. He got me a job at the Community Services Board. So at this point, and this is my man Big Joe, who is still one of my best friends today, doing amazing. He's lost a lot of weight. Matter of fact, I'm going to do a video with Joe. I think Joe has a lot to offer you guys. And so does Ali. But anyway, Ali got me a job. And I still had one foot in the streets and one foot in the corporate world. But this was really the best place that I had been. I had recently graduated and I had a degree. Ali hooked me up with that job. So I was in a good place, and I'm doing my music at the time. Like, I'm real heavy into the music, but I'm heavy into this lifestyle that didn't support health, that didn't support a nurturing environment for my family. All I wanted to do was pop bottles and buy jewelry, and I was heavy into the music. Right, the music was my thing, and this chapter of my life was very interesting. I have zero regrets, but my priorities, man, I was wild. I was spending money recklessly. I wasn't taking care of my health. I wasn't taking care of my responsibilities the way that I should. I had a lot of growing to do. I was pursuing my passion, and music is still a passion of mine, right? And I do want to pursue it somehow. Don't know what that looks like. But music was my escape. I poured everything into my music, just like I do now into my content. But my music career came to a screeching halt on this day. This is February 18th, 2012. I committed a crime that would change my life. I caught a felony robbery case, and I have a video on this. I did an entire video. I'll link it in the description below. That kind of breaks down the felony. And my life at this point, man, it was the beginning of the new me, because that felony put my life on a downward spiral, right? So I like to say that event was the worst thing that ever happened to me, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it was a wake-up call. It was the rug being snatched from under my feet. I bumped my head, and life was beginning to get clear to me, right? So now I had to face a lot of the demons, right, that led me to that particular place in my life. Right. This is the part where the destruction happened in my life, because I lost my family. My wife and I divorced, a little while before this happened. I lost my job. I lost my car. I lost my house. I lost a lot of my friends. I lost my passion. I no longer was doing music, and I was in this really, really, really dark space. Because my existence already, as it was fragile. Like, I was fragile emotionally, physically, financially, way before all of this happened. So when I caught the felony and my life pretty much dropped out from underneath my feet, I went into this really dark, depressive place. Really dark place. And in this place, I did a lot of soul searching. And it even got so bad that I thought about killing myself. So this was my breaking point. This was the point where I had some serious decisions to make. And honestly, if it wasn't for my children, right, my kids, these beautiful babies right here, if it wasn't for them, I honestly don't know what I would have done. I don't know how this story would have ended, if I would be on this screen talking to you guys right now, if it wasn't for these two. So from that dark place, this is where I found fitness. And this is why I'm so attached to fitness. This is why I'm so passionate about sharing the good news of health and wellness with you guys, because this dark place is where I found fitness, and fitness essentially saved my life. Because this is where all the lessons, all the principles of life that should have been taught to me by my dad, or that, like the wisdoms of life were taught to me through fitness. And I believe that this can do the same thing for every person watching this right now. Right. And again, I'm sharing this story because I want you guys to find a way to relate to this stuff, so that it can expedite you to your breaking point. Right. You need to get to your breaking point if you want to transform your body, if you want to really adopt a fitness lifestyle. You have to reach your breaking point. It's vital. It's almost necessary. If you have a significant amount of change to make in your life, right? So let's not just talk about weight loss. If you have a significant amount of change that you need to make, you have to reach your breaking point. So fitness, pretty much, so my children was the beginning of the fuel for me, right? That's initially what fueled my transformation. And I wanted to live for them. I left out parts of the story where the doctor was, telling me that I was going to die if I didn't make changes to my lifestyle. All that stuff went into my decision to change my lifestyle, of course. But more so than anything, it was my children. It was the fact that I had to be strong for them. I wanted to be a good example. I thought about the life that I would want them to live, and the decisions that I would want them to make. And I made those decisions. I made a promise that I was going to turn into the type of man that my daughter, right, that I would want my daughter to marry, right? I made that decision very early on. Like, I wanted to become the man that I want my daughter to marry. And that decision led to me changing the way that I live my life. And it started with fitness. It started with me changing my relationship with food. It started with me increasing my activity and starting to exercise more and prioritizing my mental health. And I started reading. I started meditating. I started documenting my journey, right? Because I wanted to hold myself accountable. I started sharing my story on Instagram, and this is all 6 years ago, 7 years ago, before I had any proof that I was going to be able to fully transform my life. But I was speaking as if it already happened. And that belief, that faith, that the fuel of wanting to be a good example for my children is what allowed me to make it happen. And I'm so grateful for that. I'm so grateful for that. But I almost destroyed my life. I almost took it all. I almost took my life. You know, it wasn't just like a thought. It was I had a plan to do it. And I'm so glad that I didn't, obviously. And I want you to use my story. I want you to use my pain. I want you to find the pain in your life that's gonna get you to your breaking point. Right? And I'm going to be making more content that speaks more about how to harness the pain in your life to transform your body and your habits and your mindset and your outlook on life and your daily activities and your rituals, that sort of thing. I'm going to be making more content about that. And again, if you want to be a part of this 1000 Transformations mission, go to brixfitness.com, sign up for the newsletter. There should be information on how to text to opt in for the text feed. Go do that right now. Do it right now. And as always, guys, I'm just trying to share the wellness. So get well and get money.